Hello, Lorraine.
Hello, Don. Nice to see you.
Great to see you as well. It's
Thank
been
you.
a while.
It has, yes.
And you're calling from Texas?
Fort Worth, Texas.
Right on. What's the weather like over there?
Today was actually pretty nice. Sunny, almost 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So we will be pretty warm. Our temperature in Texas, you never know what's going to happen. It can go up and down within a 24-hour period. So we're looking at 70s, and then we drop down to the 50s towards Thanksgiving. But it's bearable. Yes.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, you're getting ready for that, I assume?
I am. I got my turkey today, so it is in the refrigerator, yes, and we will smoke it on Thursday morning.
So is that all you, or do you have some hands in the chef that could help you out?
My husband will monitor the smoker, but I pretty much make everything else. We will have my brother-in-law and his family come up Thursday morning from Houston, and they usually spend Thanksgiving with us a couple of days over here. So
Nice.
yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, but I don't mind. I love the cooking part, even though it's a lot of work. Enjoy
I meant
it.
to say extra hands in the kitchen. That's the proper expression.
Yeah, it's pretty much just me. My daughter says she wants to help, so we'll see how much help she offers this year.
Well, I missed that. We have certain restaurants here in Korea where they would do like a Thanksgiving dinner or like a Thanksgiving menu.
Okay.
So that's my only, I would say, taste of Thanksgiving in the past couple of years.
Yeah,
Jealous.
unless you make it yourself.
Exactly, but Lorraine, you've been with us for closing in on 2 years, I believe.
Yes.
And I remember like the interview that I had with you when you first came on board. That seemed like yesterday.
It did. Yes, time goes by fast.
It goes by super fast. And now you've pretty much got a full roster of clients. And
I do.
And you're doing extremely well with them. The client check-ins that I have with these clients of yours, they have nothing but good to say about you, and they keep renewing. And so I wanted to bring you on board and share what you're doing with your clients that's been so successful, and any insights into maybe your client sessions that we can share with our coaches that are watching this, as well as the clients or soon-to-be clients that are watching this could say, "Ooh, I'd like to be a student of Lorraine," right?
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Yes.
So that's the typical audience that we have. It's soon-to-be clients that are just on the fence of joining, and we've got, of course, our new coaches and our veteran coaches that are watching. So I'd like to provide some good insight, good value to them today. And thank you so much for coming on board to join me.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Well, why don't I just pass the mic off to you? And if you can take us through your introduction, that'd be great. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I've been working with you, like you said, for almost about 2 years. My past experience, I came from the corporate world, where I managed a multi-million-dollar book of business, included medical transcriptionists and supervisors, and I dealt with clients from all over the country, different time zones. So I did that for about 12 years. And I've been working from my home office for about 14 years and dealing with, I did coaching. I also have done some e-commerce, and I learned how technology-wise, I learned how to build websites. I enjoy that. I still do here and there. Just expanding my knowledge. I love learning, and I continue to learn different things and make my skills strengthen up my skill level for coaching in particular. Excuse me. And so that's what I do right now. I love coaching. I enjoy it. I love connecting from different cultures, different industries, different people, and helping them, find out what their struggles are and doing my best to guide them and meet their goals.
Absolutely. And not to get too off topic here, but have you ever been to Korea?
I have not, and I've had clients tell me, well, Lorraine, if you're ever in South Korea, make sure you call me, or they've asked me the same thing. Have you been? I'm like, no. So we also share our stories. They tell me where they go on vacation or the best places in Korea, or they're eating, the holidays. When you have holidays there, they kind of give me a background history on it, and it's very fascinating, and they love learning about what we do here in the States. Like Thanksgiving. I had a client yesterday, excuse me, my voice, who asked me right at the end of the session. It was about Thanksgiving. And I said, yeah, we have Thanksgiving Thursday, so I need to move your session up a day if possible. She goes, oh, yeah. And she goes, well, what are you cooking? And I said, well, we do this, we do that. We smoke a turkey. She's like, oh, that sounds so good. She goes, well, what are you making for dessert? And I said, I haven't decided. Maybe the pumpkin pie, cheesecake, or a bread pudding. A bread pudding? Can you send me a picture? She wanted a picture of it. I'm like, yes, I'll send you a picture of it because I had it from last year. So yeah, we learn from each other, and I think it's just fascinating. We're so far away, yet we're so close in a sense. Yeah, I really enjoy that.
sharing the cultures, and I mean, there's so much to learn about America, right?
Yes.
At the same time, for you, because most of your clients are from South Korea,
absolutely,
there's so much for you to learn as well. And
there is.
And we would welcome you with open arms here, Lorraine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely let you know if I head that way.
Absolutely.
It would be wonderful.
So, Lorraine, let's get into your experiences of teaching.
Okay.
Donnelly and Company clients. You've got a wide range of clients from what I see and what I know, but I'd like to just pinpoint a few. I believe they are in the HR area, and they're quite senior up. I mean, they're in high positions, and they've joined you, and you've noticed a couple things from the very start. So you and I talked about this prior to having this call, and I want to kind of have you share what that moment was like, and kind of go deeper into how you're able to unravel maybe a hidden blind spot for them. Could you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Yes, I would love to. So I had, one client in particular. She was new to the HR position. And so she kind of had some struggles and wanted to enhance her presentation skills, perhaps her writing skills, just because she writes a lot of emails in English. So she wanted to enhance that skill level as well. But also, when I first met her in our first session, I can tell that she was very shy, more of an introvert. And with HR, you have to have a backbone. You have to have some tough skin sometimes because you're dealing with a lot of issues and a lot of emotions. Your employees come to HR because they normally not because it's something good, it's something bad. They have an issue. They need you to fix it right then and there. And so when I first started talking to this particular client, I noticed how shy she was. And, we started talking more and more. And usually in the first session, I can tell the confidence level of a person just by their demeanor, their body language, what I can see, their facial expressions, their tone of their voice. So it's not only, I don't tell them that's what I'm looking at, but I do analyze that in the first session so I can get a better understanding of who I'm working with, who they are without words. Because you can tell a lot about a person without words.
Yes.
And then when they start speaking to me, then I can kind of analyze a little bit deeper if, okay, maybe with her in particular, we had to enhance her confidence level. She's very in a comfort zone. She loved what she did, but she's a higher position in HR. So that meant more problems, really. Not only with more writing, not only more presentations in English, but more issues and how to deal with them. And so we got to, very familiar with her day-to-day things. We started working on presentation enhancement, and she would share her information with me and present. We would do that. But also she came to me because I like my clients to be very comfortable with me. And I let them know at the start, be honest with yourself, be honest with me, be comfortable. I'm not going to judge you. I'm here to help you. Mm. So in order for me to be effective and do what I need to do, I need you just to open up a little bit and trust me. And fortunately, I've been able to do that since day one, which I'm extremely proud of, because I think that it's so important to connect with your client right up front and start creating that bond, that coach and coachee bond. And so we started talking, and I would say maybe about the third, fourth session, she said, Lorraine, I have an issue I want to talk to you about. I'm like, sure. She goes, there's this person that I work with. She's not my boss, but she's extremely demanding of me. She's of my time, of my energy. I can't go on holiday without her not only asking me to do something, she's telling me, demanding that I need to do this. And staying late. She already stood late at work as it was, but this particular person, again, who was not her boss, was just demanding more time. And so that means less time with her family, less time with her son, which was bothering her. So she started having a lot of additional stress because of this particular person. And so she wanted to know, how can she address this to her boss in a professional way? You know, and we're all humans, and we all feel the same pain. We all feel what joy and happiness is, and stress. And so her stress was, you know, her job was already stressful as it is, and this was just even more so. So there is a way to disagree. There is a way to state your opinion on whatever it may be in a professional manner. So we worked on her confidence. I was trying, kind of peeling the onion, so to speak, where little by little, she started feeling more comfortable, and she's like, okay, yes, I can try that. So we did small steps. I didn't give her big goals. I didn't say, go to your boss tomorrow and tell her this. That's not going to fix it. I want her to have a permanent change, not just fix this one time, because this may happen again, or it may happen, you know, with an employee that maybe she needs to help and coach in that aspect. So started peeling the onion with her and making baby steps. Making baby steps is great. It's progress. She's moving forward. And soon she was able to go to her boss and tell her how she was feeling, how this person was causing so much additional stress that where she did not like her job. And this was a position that she was looking forward to. She had just got promoted. She loved the HR aspect, but this person was making it a little bit too difficult for her. And what topped it was when she was on a business trip, she finished what she had to do, and then she stood where she was to have a holiday. And this person contacted her and said, you have to do this. And that was like the top. She's like, I can't deal with this anymore. And so we worked on some things, what she could say, how she could approach it. And she told her boss. And she came the next session that we had, and she's like, Lorraine, I did it. I spoke to my boss. I told her this and this. I shared how I was feeling, because a lot of the times we feel, oh, you're my boss, I can't show any emotion. And that's not right. We can, in a professional manner, we can still show emotion and state our opinion and state how we're feeling and something's bothering us. So she did it. She was so proud of herself. I mean, she was just smiles. That one session, she was just full of smiles from the start to the end, because it was like a huge cloud was lifted. And she was proud of herself. So I gave her props. I'm like, good for you. You know, remember this feeling. Remember the feeling that you're having right now, how great it feels. So when you encounter a difficult situation along the way, and you will, because you're in HR, remember that feeling, and that feeling is going to help you move forward and open up and get out of that comfort zone, because you're going to want to feel that again. And you're going to remind yourself, yeah, I spoke up, I did it in a professional manner, and I felt great about it. It didn't jeopardize her job, her position. it made things better for her. And, you know, hopefully she will be able to utilize what she learned in different, maybe in her own team. You know, maybe someone else is going to come to her with a similar problem. Well, she's going to know how to help that person based on her personal experience. And that is just priceless for me as a coach. I mean, I felt so good. She felt good. You know, we were just full of smiles that session, and it was great. It was a great session. And I love to hear those stories where I did it, Lorraine, I did it. And that wasn't the only time. She had some other issues, and we worked on it, and I made small goals for her to meet, and she did it little by little. It started off with not being confident to speak to another coworker in English. And I said, start off, ask so-and-so the next day, ask to go for a cup of coffee. Would you like to join me for a cup of coffee? And she did, because she was she was hesitant to just ask that type of question, that simple question. So she did it, and she felt great. She shared, you know, that with me too in our following session. Lorraine, I asked her, and yes, we had a cup of coffee. It was great. And I said, okay. I gave her another challenge. Now let's make a longer conversation. Still simple, but a little bit longer. So small steps. And now she has a higher level of confidence, and I can tell right away. Right from session one, from the beginning, such a big difference. So confidence level will help you move forward in whatever challenge you're having. So that was one of my great moments.
Yeah, well, it makes me happy hearing that. But what I can tell, or what I got from that, you sharing that experience, is you're allowing your clients to have these small wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by having these small wins, you're allowing them to build that organic confidence from the inside, and for it to accumulate. And when it comes a point in time, they can make that leap. For example, addressing their boss about the pain that it's causing them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And how to address it professionally and with confidence, and to walk away from that, you know, with a big weight off the shoulders of your client, right? Okay.
Yes.
I love that strategy, and I think that's something that can be worked on by all of our coaches, which is giving our students small wins in pretty much every session, right? And these are assignments, or these could be even words of encouragement. Could it not be? Right?
Yes.
Words
yes. Empower them.
Empowering them. Because I don't know about you, I don't know how many "good job, Don" that I get every day. You know?
Good job, Don. There you go. You have one.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a simple thing to do, which is like, hey, great work, or you did great that day, or it's something that I'm also trying to develop as a leader. The better of is praise, and not just to give random praises, but meaningful ones to my team, to my coaches, and even to my clients. So that's a very important point that you touched on, Lorraine, and I love that story.
Thank you.
So in short, small wins could create.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I mean, there's so many things I can ask you and go off of, but because of the sake of time, I want to also talk to you about pronunciation.
Okay.
It's funny because when we do the call, we do the record, and then we're live. But you and I, before this call, to just go over, you know, the agenda for today's meeting, and then we press record, and then I came out with your name, Lorraine. It's early morning, and so it was a funny laugh, and I just wanted to ask you, because what you were talking about was the common pronunciation error has been the R, or the how did you call it?
The sound.
The sound.
ER.
And there's there was this technique that you're doing with could you just show it, and could you just take us through what you're doing? Yeah.
Yes. I actually used it before our call. I had a client, and we went over a list of words, and It's so funny. So it can be a little uncomfortable for them. So this is why it's important to really connect with your client, because then they're okay with it. So you have, no matter what their title is, the industry, they're okay with this.
Right.
And so when we are practicing certain sounds, I analyze their mouth formation, because their tongue, their mouth, they're not used to these sounds. They're like, it's a different language for their mouth structure. So I pay attention to it, and I can identify when they're saying something, their mouth shifts. You know, the mouth is shifting. So for instance, so the sound, this particular client, and not just him, but I've had, I would say probably 4 others with a similar experience. So when they have a difficulty of saying so what they do is they say so their tongue is going up to the roof of their mouth. It's curling. I'm like, no, don't curl your tongue. Straight. And your mouth, your lips should be protruding out. So when they say it, their mouth is also shifting. So I said, okay, get close. So we get very close to our webcam and we're laughing while we're doing this, but it's effective. It works. So I said, put your fingers on each side. Okay, so your mouth is straight. It's not crooked, because that's what's happening. It's shifting, and so it's generating this other sound. Early, you know, early. So we do that, and they stop and they laugh. And I'm like, I know, is it uncomfortable? Like a little bit. I'm like, well, that's good. If it's uncomfortable, it's a good sign. You're doing it right. And so that's why I said, go back to the finger, because your mouth is shifting. And it's been effective, and we have fun doing it. So I kind of make it, like I said, we laugh a lot because they're looking at themselves and they can identify. They're like, okay, I hear it now. I hear the difference, because when there's nobody there to tell them you're saying it wrong, it's never going to get corrected. They're going to think they're saying it, and they'll tell me, I thought I was saying it right this whole time. And now they can hear the difference. You know, so I tell them at home, look in the mirror, practice, look at yourself. That's how it's practice, practice, practice. It may not happen overnight, because what will also happen is they'll say it correctly finally. And then later on our session, I go back. I said, repeat this word, repeat the sentence, and it's back to the old way. So they have to keep practicing redundancy over and over, and look at yourself in the mirror. So I always recommend that to all of my clients. Look at yourself in the mirror and do it. And use the fingers to help not shift the mouth, so it's straight, because that will make a huge difference. So they've been doing that, and it's been effective. And so I always recap. So we'll have our next session. I'm like, okay, I need you to go back and repeat this word for me. You know, and they'll say it. And if they don't say it right, they'll practice, and they'll get closer to me, so I can look at their formation where their tongue is, and I can tell, like, no, tongue doesn't touch the roof of your mouth, no curling. And it makes a huge difference, and they can hear it, and they notice it. They're like, okay. I had one client, it was so funny. It was difficult to say the word Shirley. And so we practiced over and over again. And they said, well, it's a funny joke. Well, you know what? I've never had a girlfriend named Shirley. This is why I can't say it. So it was just classic. We had a really good laugh. So I said, okay, nickname somebody in your office Shirley so you can practice, you know. So we had a really good laugh with that. But yeah, he said, just keep you may not use the word Shirley, but the sound is going to come in different words, and that's going to help you. So if you can master Shirley, that's going to help you with other words with that same sound, with the IR sound, But yeah, we have good laughs too. And I think that's really important, because, you know, the majority of our clients have these high stressful jobs. They're high professionals. They work many hours. So the last thing I want to do is have them come to our session and just like, I really don't want to be here. You know, I really don't want to do this. I had a long day, or it's early in the morning. I want to have fun with them and make the learning fun, and they'll be able to connect a lot much easier. They'll enjoy the sessions, you know, and they'll look forward to the next one. And so that's been my strategy. And, you know, since the first session that I had with my very first client, I wasn't too sure because of the culture differences, but I just found a way to connect with them. And it's extreme. I can't stress that more. You have to connect with the client at the very first start. And if you see that they're a little shy, then you know what? You work around them. They'll open up as long as they're comfortable and they know you're not going to judge them, you know, and adding a little fun to it, it makes it all the better. And it's been working so far, and they love it.
Lorraine, there's a couple of things I want to piggyback off of and then transition to our closing question.
Okay.
So the first thing would be, I love that you add a fun element to such a, I would say, exercise that's not as joyful to the client, right? Which is pronunciation. Because most pronunciation exercises or even classes that are taught by instructors, it's very mundane. It's very, I would say, straight line, right? There's no excitement, and it's not fun to do, right?
Exactly.
But the fact that you're adding a fun element to it, making it not comical in a way, but having you, add, facial expressions, but also adding movements, making it interactive. I think that goes a long way, making that fun. Because pronunciation, correct me if I'm wrong, Lorraine, but I would say most of our clients that join our program wants the feedback on their pronunciation, right? Because a lot of the clients that we bring on board are nearing, it's not advanced level of English, but they're past the intermediate level, and they're quite fluent in everyday English. So they're looking for that polish, right?
Yes.
And so when the coaches are able to give them that polishing of their sounds, they love it. But like you said, sometimes it's very early morning classes or late night. So the fact that you're able to adapt and really connect with them, and I think that goes a long way, right? So for coaches that are watching this, know your client, know their environment, know that what they're going through, because that's the job of a coach, right? You should know. And if you're incorporating pronunciation exercises into your classes, adding a fun element could go a long way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It does. It does.
Okay. Which brings me to, I guess, my closing question, and then we have to get going here. But Lorraine, you keep bringing up the point of connecting and how connecting is so huge. And when you first started with us 2 years ago, I guess that was your first interaction with Korean professionals, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And if you can go back in your first, I would say, experience as a coach with us and to now, what has been, I guess, your learning experience in terms of being able to connect with your clients right away? I think this would really help our new coaches that are watching this, because it's also, many of them would be the first time interacting with Korean professionals. So, Lorraine, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. The first thing I do is study them when they first come on Zoom. Study them, look at their expressions, because like I said, you can learn a lot. I always look at if their LinkedIn is available, to learn a little bit about them. Learn who your client is, the background. So you can try to start putting the puzzle together, because there's their LinkedIn, and then it's different when you get them on. And you have to remember, everybody's human. We all have feelings. We all have the same issues in life. We all try to balance everything, especially if they have a family. So get to know them a little bit more in order to do that, in order to put everything together, and then you can relate to them, and you'll be able to help them so much more. But yes, connecting. And so going back to my first client, I would say, as a coach, don't be nervous. No matter what industry, whatever background, whatever culture, don't be as nervous, because I remember the very first one, I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope I can pull this off, you know? What are they going to think of me? And after the first one and the second one, it was just like, you know what? We're all the same. We're really all the same. We may have different certificates, different degrees, different industry backgrounds, but we all want to do better. We all have the same issues and challenges. It's just at a different level. And so as a coach, you just be you. Because if you're not you, that's going to come off, because the client's not going to know, who am I dealing with, you know? And so they know how I'm going to be the same type of person every session, no matter what time of day it is for me. Sometimes I have the early shift and they have the later, you know, because our time difference is so huge. But I'm always going to be the same for them. And they know that. They know they're going to get the same Lorraine, no matter what it is. And yeah, I just cannot stress that enough. It's learn as much as you can before your first session, and then your first session, then you can study all of this, and then put everything together and listen to their tone of voice. And just, like I said, peel the onion slowly. You know, don't give them big, huge chunks of goals to do, just little wins at a time, and they will open up to you and ask questions. You know, they will share. You ask, they will share, and find something in common as well. You know, they know that I have family, they know I have kids, and then they'll say, oh yeah, some of them have the same age as my boys. And so we have something in common. Hey, Lorraine, how was your weekend? Did your son, you know, play baseball this weekend? Did he win? So they'll ask me questions, and that's just right at the beginning, our small talk session, which I call. I have that with all of my clients. We have a brief small talk session in the beginning. How are you? They ask me the same questions, and then we get into the curriculum, the topic at hand. So I would recommend that if you're not already doing that, to do that. Take some time and really get to know them. And you build these relationships. You know, the clients have asked me, if you come, call me, you can stay here. You know, I want to know if you come to visit Korea, and you have that bond. And right. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling.
You said, you know, trying to get to that, it was learning about your client before your first session. And so yes. You have a LinkedIn profile. You're also given their evaluation report. So the evaluation that we do with the client.
Yes.
There's many pieces that you can consume prior to the first session, and that is the role of a coach, to have that ready and have that prepared. And then you're saying, now once you have the first session as a coach, your job is to quickly assess and start putting the pieces to the puzzle. Because what you're saying is, Dawn, it's key to be able to connect quickly, right?
Yes.
It is a long-term contract they're with us. And you want them to look forward to seeing you twice a week, whether it's once a week or twice a week. And so that first impression, that first moment together is imperative to the long-term relationship. Yes. So there's I guess that's the main point I wanted to address, what you just already told us today. The second thing would be authentic, right?
Absolutely.
Be authentic, right? And I don't have to repeat that. Just be authentic, right?
Yeah.
And
it goes a long way.
It goes a long way. And that will be reciprocal, right? You're authentic, the client will be authentic, which opens up more questions, more unearthing of the student and the coach.
Yep.
Gotcha. And then you've got the small talk, which is awesome. I believe that's it, Lorraine. We went over time. I believe you.
I know, I can go on and on and on, but we're short in time.
Okay. Any words of wisdom for the new coaches that are coming on board, and as well as the veterans, so coaches that have been with us for 2+ years like you?
Words of wisdom. Okay, besides being authentic, that's a big one right there. Goodness, I'm trying to think. There's so many that running through my mind. Focus on what's important. Focus on what's going to get them to reach their next stage or their next goal. I think focus has a lot to do with if you're able to accomplish something or not. So once you identify what their goal is, what they need, what their challenge is, then focus on one thing at a time, not too many things, because if you move them into too many different directions, they may get frustrated. So words of wisdom is just focus on what matters. I guess I would end it with that. Focus on what matters. And if you're not sure, ask yourself that question. What matters right now? Based on what I know, what matters? And go from there.
Okay. Awesome. Then that's a wrap. And Lorraine, again, thank you so much for coming on board. A lot of things we covered today. I'll summarize it and share it with our audience. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Don, for your time. And I enjoyed this. It was fun.
Likewise. And I'm very appreciative and I'm so thankful for your service. There it goes again.
Service.
You know what's weird? The fact that we talked about it, now it's on my mind.
There you go.
That's my pronunciation. Thank you for your service.
You're very welcome.
And I look forward to our next chat together.
Me as well. Thank you so much. You have a great day.